Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's Speak Life coaching video because, as you know, we are now officially in the fourth quarter of the year. And if you know me, then you know I'm all about ending the year on a solid, strong note. And so one way to do that is to set goals. Actually, you should have set goals in the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and then in the fourth quarter of the year. So we're just going to jump right on in because I don't want this video to be too long. So first of all, let's talk about setting goals. So we all know that we need to set goals, yes, but we don't always do it because it can be kind of a lengthy process depending on what it is you're trying to do. And it's not necessarily easy for everybody to set goals because sometimes we're not quite sure what goals we need to set, right? So today we're going to be talking about how to set goals, and such that, you know, it's not something that's just going to drain your energy, raise your blood pressure. It'll make it very easy for you if you just follow these simple tips. So let's jump right on in. Now, it's been said that goals are nothing more than dreams that have a due date, and I really like that. We all dream of what it is we want to do, to be, or to accomplish, but only successful people make their dreams reality. So we're going to look at some steps that you can take to go from being a dreamer to a doer. And honestly, some of you have been dreaming too long. And I'm just going to put that out there. If I'm stepping on your toes, I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. So number one. So when you're starting to create your goals, you want to use what's called the SMART approach. And I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. But if you haven't, I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So, and let me read this quote, because if you know me, you know I love quotes. So here's a quote by Aristotle, and it says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit." Let me say that one more time. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but it is a habit. And this is by Aristotle. So our SMART goals. The S in SMART stands for specific. A specific goal will usually tell you who, what, when, where, and why. And so your goals need to identify each of those things. And that probably is the toughest part about setting up your goals, and maybe that's why you haven't done it, because you do have to be able to answer all of those questions. The M stands for measurable. If your goal isn't measurable, how do you know if you're making progress? You don't, right? You're just moving along, but you're not quite sure if you're even making any progress. So it has to be something that's measurable. The A stands for obtainable. Your goal must be something that you can realistically attain. So a realistic goal would be, I want to grow my business by X number of clients, right? A goal that's not necessarily obtainable is if I said, I want to grow wings and fly high up in the sky. That is not an obtainable goal because I cannot grow wings, number one. So therefore, it's not going to happen. So your goal, I said that to say this, because your goal has to be something that you can actually obtain. And I know sometimes we like to think big. We're always told to think big, dream big, and I got that. But make sure that goal is something that is obtainable, something that you can actually do. And in that way, you don't set yourself up if it doesn't happen, okay? The R in the word SMART stands for relevant. Your goal has to mean something to you. Let me put a pin right there. Your goal has to mean something to you. It doesn't have to mean anything to me, but it has to mean something to you. So in other words, don't do it to please someone else. Tie your goals to your deeper values to give them more meaning. Make sure you're behind the goal 100% so you stay motivated to achieve it. And again, you know, along with being obtainable, your goal has to mean something to you. Because if it doesn't mean anything to you, why are you doing it? Too many times in life we set goals because we want to please somebody else. We want to please mom and dad. We want to please grandma, grandpa, friends, coworkers, whoever. Your goal has got to mean something to you. It's not about anybody else. It really isn't. Okay? So number 2, write your goals down and display them. And the Chinese proverb says, I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I write and I understand. I like that. Let me say that one more time for you. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I write it and I understand. I am a visual person. And so this is why a few videos back I created my vision book. See, a vision board is great, but that vision board is going to stay at home or wherever it is I posted it up. I need something that I can see all the time. I can take my vision book to work and I can open it up and look at it while I'm on the train riding to work. I can look at it at lunchtime. I can look at it again on my way back home from work. And that keeps my goals right in the forefront of my vision. So I'm seeing it, I'm seeing it, I'm seeing it. And guess what? It forces me to act upon it because I'm always seeing it. So be sure to write it down. And then, so if you're a sticky note person, which I think the older I get, I am becoming a sticky note person, write down a goal. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 10, depending on how big your sticky is. But write down your goals and then put them everywhere you move about in the morning. I think the morning is the best time to do this because it stays in your mind and it's fresh all day. So take a sticky and stick it at the bottom of your mirror in the bathroom. Take a sticky and stick it on the back of your bedroom door. Something, because you're going to open that door when you get up in the morning, but you're going to see the sticky before you open the door, right? Take a sticky and put it in the kitchen. Take a sticky and put it by the front door. So as you are going to open that door to leave for the day, that sticky is right there and you can see your goals. It's right in front of your face. And that way it stays in the forefront of your mind. Now, a study showed that among people who write down their goals with actionable comments that they put into weekly progress reports and shared with friends, 76% accomplish them. So writing down your goals makes them real. They are tangible words on paper, not just a dream in your mind. So let me put a pin right there for just a second. When I said that people share their progress reports with friends, be very, very, very careful about who you share your goals and your dreams with. And I'm very serious when I say that because there are so many people in life that I think it's just their mission, I think it's their goal to try and talk other people out of their goals and dreams. So be careful who you share your goals with, okay? And it's okay to share with people. I wouldn't share with too many people, 1 or 2, accountability group or something, but be careful who you share those with. Number 3, break big goals into smaller ones. Break them down into a manageable weekly and daily actionable bites. Doing this keeps you from getting overwhelmed and burnt out. And this right here, if you don't remember anything else I said, this is very much so important. Excuse me. Because I think sometimes our goals are so big and we think, oh my goodness, I've got this huge goal, but it's so big and now I've got to figure out how am I going to get all of this done. It's so much. Break those things down into little bitty parts. And the easiest way to do that, I think anyway, is to break it down in quarters. Okay? So the first quarter of the year, my goal is to do this. The second quarter, I want to do this. The third quarter, I want to do that. And then when you get to the fourth quarter, you're going to finish up strong because you've already obtained all the other goals. So you just have this one last little piece that you need to take care of. So break it down to small pieces. That way you don't get burnt out. And then once you get burnt out, of course, you just give up and forget all about it. Number 4, make an action plan and follow it. Benjamin Franklin said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Okay? The best gift you can give yourself is a well thought out action plan. Take time to organize all of your smaller daily and weekly goals in one place so you can easily check your progress or send it to others to hold you accountable. And again, having an accountability partner is absolutely amazing. I have a couple, and I love how we are accountable to one another. I will pick up the phone, they'll pick up the phone, we'll text, we'll inbox, or whatever, and say, hey, how's it going? How are those goals? Where are you? You know, when we talk, and see, I take notes about what you said you wanted to do. So when I'm talking to you, I can say, well, the last time we talked, you said your goal was to do X, Y, Z. So where are you on that? Okay, no, you didn't get to it. Okay, well, you know what? Let's get on it today. We're not going to wait till tomorrow. We're going to get on it today, and I'm going to check back with you at the end of the week. That kind of thing. So having your accountability partner is absolutely key, because that person is going to help you stay focused and stay on task. Number 5, work on your goals as early in the day as possible. Thomas Jefferson said, the sun has not caught me in bed in 50 years. That's deep. That's very deep. Let me say that again. The sun has not caught me in bed in 50 years. And so this goes back to what I said previously about putting your sticky notes up so you can see it first thing in the morning, because it's more apt to stay with you when you do that. If you study successful people, you'll find that most of the time they do more before the sun rises than the rest of the world does in a day. Get your goals done first thing in the morning and feel like you've started your day right. That way you will always find time to do them. You know, here lately, I would say in the last 2 months, maybe 3, I have been waking up early in the morning. So usually between 4:30, 4:45, I'm up, I'm taking notes. Sometimes I'm on YouTube listening to videos and taking notes about business things that, you know, I need to stay on top of, or maybe something that I needed to look up because I wasn't quite sure how to do it. And of course, you know, you can find anything you want on YouTube, but I find myself getting up a little early, doing some work. And even if I only spend 30 minutes doing it, it's a good crisp 30 minutes, and I'm actually doing something productive, because actually I don't have to get out of bed till about 6:30. So, but I don't mind, because you know what, my whole mindset for the day is just in a whole different place when I get up early to do the things that I need to be doing. Number 6, find an accountability partner. Stephen Covey says, accountability breeds responsibility. Accountability breeds responsibility. When you know someone is going to check your progress, it lights a fire under you to follow through. Find a good friend or mentor who will take on the role of motivator and occasional butt kicker. You will come to value this service immensely when you see your efficiency and effectiveness improve. And again, be careful who you share your goals with. I've already talked about that, so you know the drill on that one. Be very careful. Number 7, make sure your goals excite you. Albert Einstein says, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or to things. And that's very deep right there. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or to things. And I'll just leave that right there. Because I wasn't going to dig into it, but I think when you tie your goals, when you tie your happiness into people, into things, unfortunately, people and things can let us down. People and things can disappoint us. So if you tie it to a goal, I think you find that you will live a much happier life. Your goals should be a source of joy in your life. They should be one of the main reasons you get out of bed in the morning. If your goals don't excite you, then you need to reevaluate them. And I don't know about you, but my goals excite me. I get excited every single day. Every single day. I am so excited. And I'm excited because God saw fit to wake me up that morning in my right mind with all activities in my limbs, but I'm excited because the goals that I've set for myself. I get excited when I go back to my vision book and I see where I have checked off things that I wanted to do. I just get excited about my goals and my dreams. Number 8, use positive language in your goals. Jim Rohn said, the major reason for setting a goal is for what the major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. What it makes of you will always be the far greater value than what you get. So setting and accomplishing your goals and changes you, and it really does. You become a positive person who is more excited about life. Make sure your goals reflect this. Don't say, my goal is not to mess up today. Instead, your goal should say, my goal is to excel today in my career by doing XYZ. So you see how that language is a bit different? No one can get passionate about going through the day trying to avoid something negative. Instead, turn it around so you spend your day chasing and catching success. So in other words, stop telling yourself what you don't want to happen. Start talking about what you do want to happen. If you focus on the positive, then guess what? Chances are your day is going to go along in such a positive way. Now, I'm not saying that you may not have some things that come along throughout the day, but we're not focusing on the negative. We're going to only focus on positive affirmations and goals in the morning. Number 9, set goals in multiple life areas. Michelangelo said, the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but it is that it is too low and we reach it. And I'll tell you who else I've heard say that. Les Brown. He says that quite often. And this is so true. Let me say it again. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss, but it's too low and we reach it. So in other words, sometimes our greatest fear is that our goals are going to be so small that, we actually reach it. And so we're afraid to reach up high, set our goals higher because we're afraid we may miss it. But if you do, so what? You just go back to the drawing board and try it again. Don't just reserve your goals for your career. You should challenge yourself to set fitness goals, finance goals, family goals, relationship goals, educational goals, spiritual goals, health goals, and adventure goals. Every area of your life that you value should have a goal to help you improve upon it. And that is so true. And I think a few videos ago I showed you the little pie chart that I saw. I can't think of the guy's name on YouTube, but I'll be sure to link his video in the description box. And he talked about this pie chart, and I think I showed it to you all, where you section it off in all the areas that I just talked about, and then at the end of each month you give yourself a number from 1 to 10 on how you're doing with the goals you've set in those areas for the month. I'm telling you, it's a powerful thing to see that number at the end of the month. Number 10, set performance versus outcome goals. Again, Jim Rohn says the ultimate reason for setting goals is to entice you to become the person it takes to achieve them. Many things are outside your control. For example, you may have an adventure goal to climb Mount Everest. If you do, praise God for you. I do not. You follow an action plan and you train daily. You reach the moment when you are ready to ascend the mountain's icy slopes with your team. Suddenly, a huge storm turns you back. The weather was out of your sphere of influence. You met all of your performance goals. Just because the outcome didn't happen this time doesn't mean you have failed. And let me put a pin right there, because what that brought to my mind was, again, I've shared with you before that I'm a power lifter. And so before a competition, typically my coach will give me a 6 to 10 week, or maybe an 8 to 10 week training program. And I can do all that I am supposed to do to prepare for this competition. And actually, I think it was last year, might have been year before last, everything was great. Went through my training program, no problems. The night before my competition, I had a spring in my mattress, excuse me, scratch my knee and leave a huge cut. So I had to go to the emergency room. Let me grab some tea. Hold on a sec. Okay, that's better. So the night before, I had to go to the emergency room, and it was this nice, it was a nice size cut, and it was bleeding profusely and all that good stuff. So I go, the doctor looks at it, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to give you some stitches. She cleans it up, and I said, hold on, wait a minute. I said, tomorrow, really? Yes?
Are you still taping?
Yeah.
Oh.
I said, tomorrow I have a competition in the morning. First thing tomorrow morning, like at 10 o'clock. So if you put these stitches in, will I still be able to compete? Because I have done all I'm supposed to do to prepare for this competition. She said, oh, no problem. So she stitched it on up, bandaged it up, and off I went. Well, I went to my competition the next morning. And needless to say, I did not do as well as I wanted to because of the stitches in my knee. It made it a little difficult for me squatting because that thing was hurting so bad. And let me be honest with you, by the time we got to the end of that meet, my knee was so hot. And I think the bending and moving around had stretched the stitches. Thank God they didn't bust. But it was kind of a bad situation. But I was determined to go and compete because I had trained for it. But I said all that to say this. Cutting my knee was out of my sphere of influence. I had no idea that when I turned over in my sleep, the spring was going to cut my knee. Now, the funny thing is the spring did not come through the mattress, but yet and still it cut my knee. So that I just wanted to show you how you can do all you are supposed to do to prepare for what it is that you need to do. And sometimes something will come up and it throws off everything. So life just happened. So you were prepared. Life just happened and you weren't able to climb the mountain. This time, right? This time. However, regardless of the outcome, you became the person who could climb your mountain should life open the door. That's the deeper endeavor. When you set your goals, don't say, my goal is to climb out Mount Everest by January 2014. Instead, say, my goal is to be completely prepared to climb Mount Everest by January 2014. I like that. Let me go back and say that again. When you set your goals, don't say, my goal is to climb Mount Everest by January 2014. Instead, say, my goal is to be completely prepared to climb Mount Everest by January 2014 and to do all that is within your power to reach the top. The first goal is only obtainable if everything works in your favor. The second goal is completely obtainable and it depends solely on you, solely on me. So, Henry David Thoreau, I guess that's how you say his last name, he said, in the long run, men hit only what they aim at. Therefore, they had better aim at something high. So, I ask you this question, what are you aiming for? And I want you to spend some time today or tomorrow, preferably today, thinking about what it is that you are aiming for. Because you have to be aiming for something, right? And if your answer is nothing, then you probably won't like what you get out of this life, period, point blank. Instead of simply drifting along, reacting to what life brings you, take proactive steps to go out and create the future you want. While we can't control everything that happens to us, we can control ourselves by following goals that bring out our passion for life. And I want to go back and just reiterate something that I just said. If your answer, when I said, what are you aiming for? If you said nothing, and you'd be surprised at how many people aren't aiming for anything. There are so many people in life who just they just go through life. They're not really aiming for anything. They just want to exist. They just want to go to work. They want to get their paycheck. They want to pay their bills. They want to be a respectable member of society, but they're not really aiming for anything. And that's really sad, because then you get out of life whatever it decides to hand you. And I don't want you to be that person. So make sure you're aiming for something. And be sure to set your goals, you know, and if you need some help with your goal setting, you need some coaching, you need someone to be your accountability coach, you can always contact me. I will leave my information in the description box. This is what I'm here for. This is my job. So because I want to see you all succeed. I want to succeed myself, but I want to see you all succeed as well. So I want to leave you with this thought. When you set your goals, aim high. But make sure that goal is obtainable. And make sure you're doing that, whatever it is that you want to do, make sure you're doing it for you. Because we are not trying to please anybody else. The only person that you need to be pleased, worrying about pleasing, is God himself. Other than that, you don't have to please a soul. So until our next video. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. For those of you that continue to support me, thank you so very much. If you happen to stumble across my video by accident and you're not already subscribed, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, because each week I will be coming to you, speaking life into you and your situations, and I don't want you to miss anything. So until our next video, take care.